All right, Gemini, so these two cards for me immediately says that there's something that you're going to have to release here before you are okay with following your passions. There's something that you're wanting to do here, but there is some bitterness. Now, the path to prison from Lay Vampire, bitterness, grudge, and refusal to let go. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pull passion. The blessing with the path to prison says you now have a chance to free yourself from the sadness and misery of another, and to set a wonderful example of how to live freely without bitterness and regret. Working with this card talks about finding those who have suffered and who have moved on. For these are the people that have something to teach you here in terms of being able to walk away from past hurt. Now, the path to prison also talks about people who are trying to put their own bitterness onto you, even though you have nothing to do with that situation. They may be wanting you to hold on to the same kind of grudge. But I do think that for a lot of you, the path to prison is talking about something that is stopping you from being able to follow your passions. Now, the inspiration says you are correct to feel passionate about your position. Follow your instincts, for you intuitively know what is right for you. The personal question says, are my daily actions supporting my real passion? What am I willing to stand for? The key ideas are following your passion, being authentic, taking a stand for yourself, being acknowledged, and a happy outcome. So basically, for some of you, there is something in the past that you're going to have to release here before you can truly follow your passions. All right, Gemini, here we go. Here's the energy coming through, the Two of Swords. So for some of you needing to make a difficult decision. Now, you know, the other thing with the Two of Swords too is like guarding yourself emotionally. You know, but I think for some of you, when you're looking at needing to make a difficult decision, you know, it may be because there's something that you have to release with the path to prison. But my thing with the Two of Swords is you know what's going on around you. You know the situation. Right? You may have the blindfold on, but that's because you're not willing to see it. You know, this may be something that you're not really willing to deal with right now, but you're going to eventually have to make a difficult choice. Now, in the past, the Six of Swords. Wow, Gemini. So moving away from conflict. And there's always, you know, and I always say this with the Six of Swords, there's always that little bit of sadness there because, you know, we never expect to have to go through that situation where we're having to move away from conflict in our life because we never wanted to deal with that conflict in the first place. So for a lot of you, it may just be that you're not ready to make a decision because there are things that you're needing to, you know, deal with here and move away from, you know, before you can make any kind of clear-cut decision. Ugh, and you guys aren't the only ones to pull this here, the Devil. Now, you know, the sad part with this here is I would rather have seen these two in opposite positions because then I would have been like, okay, you're moving away from this. But for some of you, you're trapped in a situation here, whether it's bad thinking, looking at the sword energy here, or just a bad situation, period, but it's you're trapping yourself in it. You know, the Devil strips us of hope because, you know you're in a bad situation here. You know, it's like, you know, but, you know, being able to make that difficult decision, you just can't do right now. Like, maybe you've tried to move away from this situation, but haven't really fully done it yet. And for some of you, you may just be staying in something that you know isn't good for you because, you know, we do that because it feels comfortable. It's what we know. We think it's bringing us fulfillment, but truly it's not. Future conditions, the Four of Swords. It bothers me because there's no action. There's no action here. You know, there may be, you know, a period of rest here where you're taking a break from all of this crap. But, you know, you're needing to think about things here before you can do anything, you know? I feel like for some of you, you're dealing with a really tough situation that I think you've tried to move away from before in the past, but you're still kind of stuck with it. You're really not sure how to move forward with it, but you're not really taking any action here either. You know, I do like it in terms of taking a break from the rough stuff and doing some healing here, thinking about past actions, thinking about what you need to do now. But you don't want to stay still here, not with the devil being in the present, because I feel like you've tried before, and it's hard. This seems like something that it's hard for you to move away from. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so basically what Spirit's saying here is the best way to make this difficult decision is to ask yourself, are you seeing the results that you want to see? Because if you're not, now is the time to start changing things. The Seven of Pentacles is about reevaluating a situation. When you're looking at it in terms of the Pentacles, right, you've done a lot of work and effort. Now you're seeing the results of that. Are you seeing the results that you wanted? If you're not, now is the time to start changing things. Start changing the way that you do things. So I think for a lot of you, you just need to look at the situation differently, especially in terms of what you are receiving out of being in this situation. That may be what is going to help you make that clear-cut decision here and getting away from what you feel trapped in. Man, Gemini, all right. In your environment, the Magician, now I worry about that only because what you have here in connection to it does not look good. This could be like a manipulative situation, or for some of you, it may be you trying to manipulate a situation that just isn't working for you. It's not working for you. The Magician being in your environment, though, it's about being confident in what you are trying to manifest. You know what you want. You have the skills. You have the tools. You have the ability to manipulate matter to manifest in your life what you are wanting to see. But what are you truly manifesting here if you're still stuck with, things that are like stripping you of that hope? I hate the devil. I hate that it's connected to Capricorn too, because it bothers the shit out of me. But I think this is a bad situation that you've tried to move away from before. You don't know how to move forward here looking at the Two of Swords. You know what the situation is, but you're not sure what decision you need to make here. And it's going to be a difficult one regardless. I think you're thinking about it here in future conditions, but looking at the Magician, you may be trying to like manipulate your way out of this because it didn't work before in the past with the Six of Swords where you tried to get away from this. And I worry a little bit here. And again, you have the ability to manifest whatever you want, but you got to take that blindfold off, right? But for some of you, this just may not be a very easy situation for you at all, at all. Oh, Gemini, man, your hopes and your fears, the Three of Swords. What is up? The Three of Swords, heartbreak, separation, and that may be where the difficulty is coming in. This may not be something you're wanting to like, you want to move away from it, but you don't, because you don't want to deal with this heartbreaking situation. And it's kind of sad here because it's like you're trying to manipulate the situation to be something different than what it actually is, looking at the Magician. But again, Spirit's saying, look, if you're not seeing what you want, you have the ability to manifest what you want here. You don't have to continue, receiving these same results that are not worthy of you. But I think a lot of you are just you're not able to do it yet just because, this is difficult. I don't think that this is something that you want to face, And then on the other hand, too, you don't want to deal with any more heartbreaking situations with this either, The hope would be to get to the bottom of this and get away from it. You know what I mean? But I think for a lot of you, you're wanting to stay with it. It's like you're wanting to stay with it. And it's because you're not wanting to deal with that kind of energy, which, you know what? I understand. I do. Oh, shit, Gemini. Wow. The Tower. So You know, for some of you, definitely, definitely moving away from really bad situations here. But, you know, the Tower is saying that in the end, all of this is going to come crashing down because it's false anyway. All that fake shit, all the shit that does not serve you, that is not worthy of you, has got to go. It has to go now. You know? And it may be difficult. It may be painful to deal with. And that may be why you're not really ready to make any decisions here. But regardless on whether or not you make a decision or not, things are going to come crashing down here with the Tower. But it needs to. It needs to. You know, and for some of you looking at it this way, if you choose not to make a decision, things are going to come crashing down anyway, but you're going to be in the process here of where you get to kind of like take a break from this, and you may be doing a little bit of healing here too as well with the Four of Swords. You know, but be careful about how much thinking you do about this whole situation, because when it's done, it's over with. It's time for you to move forward. And for some of you, you know, it may be that you're not wanting to really make any clear-cut decisions or take any action because you know eventually this is going to happen. Now, I'm going to pull a clarifier on the Tower just to see what else is going on there. But, you know, I like it, but I don't, because it shouldn't have to come to that. But I can understand for some of you the reason why it needs to be that way, looking at the Three of Swords as a hope and a fear. Yeah, look, the Eight of Cups, I'm telling you. You're going to have to move away. You are going to have to move away from the things that are emotionally dragging you down. You know the situation is bad. Stop spending so much time with what is not worthy of you and what is not fulfilling you anymore. Spirit is just telling you to open up your eyes now and start reevaluating the situation here. And see that you may not really truly be receiving what you deserve. Because this is not worthy of you. None of it is. All right, Gemini, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what else is going on for you guys. You guys have been having some difficult readings. It's like a roller coaster with you guys. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really difficult. But, you know, the Tower is going to clear all this shit away, right? You have to be willing here to move away from it. And rebirth, hell yeah, that is good to see. Earth is asking you to reconnect with the earth, get a little bit more grounded, get a little bit more in tune. You know, what I like about this card is it reminds me of, you know, and this is what I do. Living out in the woods here, you know, and even if you don't live in the woods and you live in the city, go to a park, go somewhere where there is some nature around you and just kind of be there, because it helps to clear your mind and you kind of get lost in the sounds of what's going on, and it opens you up to some meditation. But you need to be open to the changes that are happening, because damn it, you are hitting a rebirth, which is exactly what you need with the Tower sitting there. Yeah, okay, so unrequited or unrequited. I always say it wrong. It's one of the two. But anyway, there is not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. Trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. So for some of you, you know, if you're involved with a person here, it may not be a good situation. There may not be enough here for the relationship. But you need to trust and have faith in the situation that is happening around this, because it may be what is going to open you up to a more meaningful relationship. So basically, sometimes we have to go through some really shitty stuff before we see why we went through it in the first place. So, you know, for some of you that are single, you may be finding yourself single now because there just wasn't enough to keep the relationship going anymore. But trust that, you know, whatever happens out of this is going to be for the best for you in terms of your love life. Calling in your soulmate, your prayers and affirmations and visualizations help bring you together. So you're calling on your soulmate here to help you through the situation. And for some of you, you know, this could be where, and I hate saying this, a relationship may be ending, but now you are opening up here to calling in your soulmate. rather than, being in a position of dealing with a relationship that is not worthy of you, not worthy of you. But then on the other hand, if you're happy in a relationship and you're just dealing with some outside crap here, you're calling your soulmate in for some support. But Gemini, I'm telling you, you're going to have to be willing to go with the flow of what's happening here with the Tower coming out. That shit needs to go away. You need to move away from things that are not bringing you fulfillment anymore because it wasn't worthy of you in the first place. Gemini, I think a lot of you aren't really ready to make any kind of a decision here. I think that you have in the past tried to move away from a really difficult situation, but you're still kind of stuck in it right now. And whatever it is, it's not worthy of you. And I feel like, Spirit here is trying to tell you that just reevaluate it, look at it. Are you truly seeing the results that you're expecting through what you're putting through here? If the situation isn't worthy of you, then it becomes easier to make the decisions that you need to make. But you're going to have to look at the situation differently here and really ask yourself, are you truly receiving what you deserve? Now, I think that the reason why, though, some of you are not making the clear-cut choice or taking any action is because you're not wanting to deal with the heartbreak that's going to be surrounding this. I think that this is something that you may be used to dealing with, and I feel like a back and forth energy looking at the Six of Swords above the Devil here, but I do like that you have the Four Swords here. I like it, but I don't. You're not really taking any action, but when you're looking at it in connection to your outcome, it is you taking a break after the battle and doing some healing and some meditating and some thinking about stuff. I worry about how much thinking, but I worry too about the Magician being there. Now, damn it, you can manifest whatever the hell it is you want, but you're going to have to make the decision here to start manifesting things that are more worthy of you. Now, on the other hand, you want to be careful about manipulative situations or trying to manipulate a situation into working out in your favor, even though you know it's not worthy of you. Because the Tower and the Eight of Cups coming out is saying that this shit's got to go. It's not worthy of you. It's false. It's fake. You have to stop spending so much emotional time with something that isn't worthy of you in the first place. It's time to move away from that now. It may be a painful situation, and I think for some of you, you may actually know that this is going to end up happening anyway. And instead of taking any immediate action, you're just kind of waiting to see how it's going to play out here. But I do feel like for a lot of you, you're not going to be left in the rubble to pick up the pieces. You're going to be in a spot here where you get to kind of take a break here and take some time to heal after this. And, the past a prison in your passions. I think that for a lot of you, the past is what's keeping you a prisoner right now. But what you're looking at coming out of this is going to be, a new opening for you to be able to live your truth here and follow your passions. It's just that this shit's got to come crashing down first. Now, Earth, be open in rebirth. Be open to your rebirth here. And if you need to do some meditating and you need to do some time where you can think clearly, go outside. Go outside and get grounded. Get yourself a little bit grounded. Now, as far as relationship goes, it's not enough. It's just not enough. But you need to trust that the reason why you're going through this is because it may lead you to something that is going to be more worthy of you. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship calling in your soulmate, you may be calling in your soulmate here to help you with a really difficult situation that you need to get out of. Now, on the other hand, some of you may be going through the ending of a really difficult relationship, and now you're calling in your soulmate. Either way, the Tower bothers me, but looking at the Eight of Cups, I think you know. I think you know eventually it's going to lead to this point. And there may be some heartbreak surrounding it, but as long as you're willing to go with the flow here, you will have a rebirth.